Hi, I'm Dylan Kepke with the GNN Special Report. On October 15th, our principal of the Goshen High School, Mr. Inabnitt, ran a very difficult Ironman triathlon. Here's Mr. Inabnitt on his formative journey.
I'm Nick Inabnitt. I am the high school principal of Goshen High School. The Ironman's been about a 3-year journey for myself. I got the idea from one of my fellow workers, co-workers who does triathlons, and so I kind of followed his journey and thought maybe that would be something that I can do. My wife got sick, real sick, and so I had to take care of her, and physically it was a hard thing for me to do because at that point I was about 300 pounds. And so I needed to do something and get in shape, and so this provided a guidelines for me to follow to help that process along. So that, with eating healthy and with lots of exercise, I was able to lose about 100 pounds over 3 years and keep the weight off. And so by doing all that training, I wanted to further myself and see what my limits would be. And a full Ironman is a 2.4 mile swim, a 112 mile bike ride, and then a 26.2 mile run, all back to back to back. And so I will be doing mine in Louisville, Kentucky, the 15th of October. This was going to be my first Ironman, and the challenges are, it's not so much about being fit, because I think I'm fit enough to do all those distances because I've done those distances. The challenging part about the Ironman is about execution and execution of your race. Nutrition is a huge part of doing an Ironman and keeping yourself hydrated. And so throughout the day, just making sure that you're having a plenty of intake of fluids and that you're getting plenty of nutrition throughout your day is probably the most vital things to do when you're doing an Ironman. The weather is something you can't control, so you know, I think it's supposed to rain on Sunday, and so I'm sure that the just getting over running in heavy shoes and wet clothes will be an obstacle to get over. I'm really nervous about this Ironman. Louisville Ironman has the most people who did not finish than any other Ironmans. So there's probably 2,000 people who were signed up for this thing, and I'm anticipating, I think, over almost 400 of them are not going to complete it. So I'm just going to make sure I'm not one of those people that have a DNF at their last name.
That was Mr. Inabnitt before the triathlon. This is him now.
So I finished the Ironman Louisville on the 15th of October. So all in all, it took me 14 and a half hours to complete the Ironman. But I was very happy about myself completing the event. Over 500 people who started off Ironman Louisville did not finish the race. So it was a tough thing to do, but Goshen grit prevailed. And that's one of the things that I was thinking of right around mile 20 about in the marathon, was having a lot of Goshen grit and pushing through. So that was one of the things that was ringing in my mind about how to finish. So this was my first full distance Ironman. It was tougher as far as the weather conditions because it was typical fall weather here in the Midwest where you get all 4 of the seasons. So we started off in the morning, it was sunshine, it was 70 degrees when we got into the river, and by the time the race was over, it was right around 47 degrees temperature with about 20 mile per hour winds. And in between there we had rain, drizzle, and all the other things that go along with that. So that made the bike course and the run course a little bit more difficult than what it should have been. But again, that's why they call it Ironman. So you control the things you can control, and you just push through on your race. So Ironman is a physically grueling event. It's something that you enjoy the accomplishment of, or the feeling of accomplishing something that not everyone does. But I did enjoy. I enjoy competing, and I enjoy the physical activity. So I did enjoy my Ironman, and I liked the town of Louisville, and we got to see some sights and things like that. So yeah, it was a good time. I enjoyed it. We'll do another one. So we were talking about, I've always done the half Ironman, which is a 70.3. I've done months in the last few years. But what I'm thinking, our next challenge will probably be to do a couple halves, maybe one in the spring, one in the summer, and we haven't decided on which full Ironman we're going to try next. So I'm sitting down with my wife Julie and just look about where we want to go, because they have them all over the place, and we'll see what we can hit an Ironman and do a little vacationing at the same time. So,
As you can see, this has been a very long journey for Mr. Inabnitt. He is very proud of his accomplishment, and so is Goshen High School. This has been Dylan Kepke with a special GNN report.
So I think what the Ironman does is that it really humbles you. I've always felt like I was fit and I was ready for this event through my training. But what that does, it breaks you down, and it makes you become more humble about where you are as a person and a human being. And at some point in the day, you rely on other people to help you through your race. And so you develop a more appreciation for your fellow man, and you're there with a bunch of like-minded people who are trying to accomplish the same thing. And you all have a journey. Everyone's got a story about why they choose to do an Ironman, or why they choose, what challenges they have before them. And so you learn to appreciate other people, and you become part of their journey as they become part of yours. So that's one of the things that makes Ironman such a special event.